So Julia and Karen had a total of 480 badges. Julia gave 1/4 to Karen. Karen then gave 1/6 of what she had to Julia. Then the two girls had an equal of number of badges in the end. Part A is asking us how many badges had each of them in the end. So this one we can simply just take 480 divided by 2, right? Because they had the same in the end, so we just split between both of them equally. So this part A actually helps us solve part B. So we know what each of them had in the end, but we don't know what they had at first. So this is a working backwards question. We need to do it systematically, step by step. So let me list down here. Now I'm going to start from the end. I'm going to write N here. And I'm going to list down for both of them, Julia as well as Karen. At the end, they each had 240. Okay, so now we got to think backwards. We got to think in reverse. We look at this transaction here first. Okay, we start from the end. We are working backwards from the end. We will do what happened last first. Okay, so we look at what happened last and we're going to deal with that first. So now it says here that Karen gave 1/6 of what she had to Julia. Now I'm going to draw something what I call the thought process here. Okay, we're dealing with Karen. So let's think about Karen. She gave 1/6 to Julia, right? So she gave 1/6 to Julia. Means her leftover is 5/6. So if her leftover is 5/6, in the end she was left with 240. So can you see that the 5/6, that 5 units that Karen had left would be the 240 that she had in the end? Okay, the 5/6 that she had left in the end is the 240 badges that she had in the end, meaning 5 units of Karen is 240. So let's find 1 unit is 240 divided by 5. And we get 48. So this 1 unit is what Julia have to return to Karen. So remember, we are working backwards. We need to do the reverse. We need to do the opposite of what the question says. So Karen gave 1 unit to Julia, right? Now we work backwards. Julia has to return that 1 unit, which is 48, back to Karen. So we return the 1 unit, which is the 48, back to Karen. Now I draw a line and I will now tally the information. For Julia is 240 minus 48. It's 192, and then for Karen is 288. So we have sorted out the first transaction now. Now let's deal with the next one. This in green. Julia gave 1/4 of her badges to Karen. Now, again, I'm going to draw the thought process bubble here. So let's think about Julia now. Okay, Julia, she gave 1/4 away, right? 1/4 to Karen. So which means she was left with 3/4. Now let's see. Julia was left with 3 out of 4. She was left with 3 units. Julia left with 3 units. Can you see that that's 192? What Julia had there, 192, is the 3/4 that she had left over after giving 1/4 to Karen. Okay, so this tells us that 3 units of Julia, so perhaps I'm going to say that that's 3 parts, okay? I'm going to call it 3 parts. So 3 parts for Julia is 192. So to find 1 part, so that's 192 divided by 3. That's 64. So 1 part is 64. So this 1 part is the 1/4 that Julia gave to Karen. So once again, we are working backwards. So since Julia gave 1 part to Karen, the opposite would be Karen now has to return that 1 part back to Julia. Okay, Karen has to return one part back to Julia. So we take away 64, which is one part from Karen, and we add it back to Julia, plus 64. Then we draw a line to tally again. So Julia is 192 plus 64, that's 256. And then as for Karen, that's 288 minus 64, which is 224. So the question only wants us to find Julia, so we have found the answer there. For part B, Julia has 256 badges at first.